how did you get into motorsport? This was the question with which friend of this channel and my WMSC commentator colleague, Ash, or better known as the Outside Line, started his video where he told us his story and showed us the F1 car models that he played with when he was a child, and I really love the idea of this video, and it was lovely to watch. And just a fantastic idea. And of course I also would like to hear your stories. What or who was the main influence that made you interested in watching motorized vehicles go in somewhat modified circles? Because it's just lovely to hear the story of other people, and I want to share my story as well, and to show you the F1 car toys and also the games, motorsport games that I played when I was a child, or when I was starting to get more and more involved into motorsports, and especially Formula 1. So first let's start with how my interest was triggered in the first place. And for me it was three main influences. The first one is probably my father. He was a big Formula 1 fan from the get-go, and he lived in and around Hockenheim for almost his entire life. He also was a voluntary member of the local Red Cross, which meant that sometimes he helped out as a paramedic at events at the Hockenheim ring. And so he also visited a few Formula 1 events that way. And he was always interested in the sport. And so this is already bringing us to the second main influence, because the first 6 years of my life I actually lived in the town of Hockenheim, and I still went to school later in Hockenheim and made my Abitur, which is like the German equivalent to a high school diploma. I made that in Hockenheim as well. And I still visit the Hockenheim ring multiple times a year, because, well, it is just where my origin is from, where my roots lie here, and is just great to be so near to a racetrack if you're interested in the sport. And the third big influence is I was born in the late 90s, so I grew up in the 2000s, right where Schumi Mania was probably at its peak in Germany. So with these three influences all coming together, my father watching Formula 1 every race weekend I was on, then in general the interest in Formula 1 being very, very big in Germany at that time, and of course every year the entire Formula 1 circus visited the town where I lived in, or where I lived close by, so I could just hop on my bicycle and I would be there at the track in about 15 to 20 minutes. And even if I was not there, if I just opened the window of my room in Hockenheim, also in the neighboring village where we lived later, I could hear the sound of the engines, so it is honestly not a big surprise that I ended up the way I did, is it? So this is how I got into the sport. And now, of course, I also want to show you some of the Formula 1 related toys that I had as a child. And I want to start off with two Lego items, actually. Look at that. These are two officially licensed Ferraris from, judging by the sponsors, this should be the 2003 season. Don't worry, I will put better footage than this here on your screen, so you can actually see these cars in more detail. And it is really the details that make these cars so great. Now, these were actually part of a bigger set. One car was part of a Formula 1 pit box, a pit crew, and the other of a Ferrari Formula 1 team truck. Now, I gave all of the, which was not much, because I did not play Lego that much. I gave all of the Lego stuff away to one of my younger brothers later when I did not play anymore with it. And all of the stuff kind of got disassembled and reassembled into something else, so I don't have the pit box and the truck anymore. You could probably somehow assemble them back together. But yeah, I managed to salvage these two cars at least, and this is what I'm very happy about, because yeah, this is really lovely. They still exist, and what is the greatest about these two is the amount of detail. I mean, look at that, the drivers especially. These are the actual helmets of Michael Schumacher and Rubens Barrichello, the Ferrari drivers at that time. You can even see their names and the flag on their overalls. And the best thing is the faces. They are individual Lego faces, and especially Rubens. You can really tell it's Rubens by the face, which is a great thing. I just love that. Yeah, with Michael it's a bit more difficult. It looks a bit generic because it's very hard to capture that chin in a Lego yeah, as a Lego figurine. Yeah, I almost forgot about these two, and yeah, it's great that I recently rediscovered them and that I was able to manage to reassemble them and to show them to you here. Now, as I told you, I was not that much of a Lego guy. I was more of a Playmobil person, if you want to put it that way. So yeah, these are the next two, or three toys actually I want to show you. They are Playmobil stuff. I had a big Playmobil city in our basement. First it was in my room as a kid, but it got too big and too much, that city, so I was allowed to yeah, rebuild it in our basement, and it was an entire room dedicated pretty much to my Playmobil city. And every now and then this city turned into a racetrack, much like the Monaco Grand Prix. And yeah, here are three cars that I kept even when I sold all of the Playmobil stuff, when I was not playing with it anymore. So I hope whoever bought it, all of the stuff I had, is enjoying it. But yeah, so these are the three Playmobil items I kept. This is the first one actually. It's a generic, it's all generic Formula 1 cars. I hope you can see this fine here. Because they did not have any Formula 1 or team licenses by Playmobil, but it's quite obviously what this car is supposed to resemble. Obviously, that is an early 90s Ferrari. I would even go as far as to say that is the 1990 Ferrari, maybe inspired, with the big number 1 on that car and the other black front and rear wings with the little yellow elements. Actually, it was Ajib back in those days. Shell only joined Ferrari, and I think it was 1996, 1997, about this time. But yeah, I love this car. Especially, of course, during Shumi Mania with the entire country being red in those years. Now, this is obviously not the only car. Here is another one, and you can already see this might also be somewhat Shumi inspired, as this here is also inspired by a certain early 90s livery, the Benetton livery, namely, is that from 1991, I think, to 1993 is when Benetton was had these colors. From 1994 they were more blue, and they kept it until the end of Benetton, when it became Renault. But yeah, this is also very good. Actually, these cars, they were not current models. When I was actually playing with Playmobil, they were a bit older, but I got them off of eBay and yeah, flea markets. Is this a word in English? I hope it is a word. It is directly translated from German, but I think flea market is the right word, where I got those. So very happy that I have them, because they're actually preceding my time. Now, finally, there is a third Playmobil model I have, and I want to show you. And this is this one. And to be honest, yeah, now you can see it. This is a fictionalized livery, because I could not remember any team that was silver back in those days. I don't know, it probably is supposed to be some sort of fictional Mercedes livery. It could maybe be a very, very distant Mercedes, Sauber Mercedes, but they never really were silver, they were more black. But anyways, this is the third car, Playmobil car that I had, and I was doing races with these three through the city, and that was always great fun. Also, actually, a bit embarrassing, but I was commentating over them whilst I was playing with it. But I mean, I was a child. Children do embarrassing stuff. Yeah, it's normal, I guess. So next, and I really, it is a bummer. I could not find the biggest part of my Formula 1 car toy car collection, which was a huge assembly. Sorry, of Hot Wheel Formula 1 cars from the 2001 to 2006 season. I had them in like a Hot Wheels box, a big one, and I know I kept it somewhere. I even took it to our flat, but we had renovations going on 1 or 2 years ago, and I could not find it. It has to be somewhere. I will do a follow-up video if I find this, because this was the biggest part of my Formula 1 toy collection. So yeah, unfortunately I can't show you this, but there is other stuff that I can show you, and this is actually something I also almost forgot about until I recently rediscovered it at my dad's old home, and this is a Ralf Schumacher autograph. I will also put up a photo or a video for you to see it better. Yeah, this is actually, I'm really happy that I rediscovered this. This also has to be from around 2004. I think it is exactly 2004, because this was when Ralph was still at a BMW Williams and had the number 4. So yeah, really, really happy that I also found this one that my dad managed to get for me. And yeah, so that is it for all of the Formula 1 memorabilia that still is around. But as I said in the beginning of this video, did I say it? I think I did. As I did not find my big toy collection, I want to show you the 3 of the first racing games I ever played. And yeah, for this, let's boot up the old PlayStation 2 and yeah, let's dive in. Well, and let's look at the first game, which is actually the very first racing game that I ever owned and that I ever played. This has nothing to do with Formula 1. This was rather a game that was focused on endurance racing, and it is called, as you can see here, Total Immersion Racing. And the story how I got this is actually quite funny, because back in the day, there you can see a few cars there in the game. You see the endurance multi-class focus. Yeah. I got this game, let's rather skip the intro, also of course connected to some cool memories. You can look it up if you're interested in the intros on YouTube probably as well. But yeah, the music might be copyrighted, of course. And yeah, let me finally get to the point that I want to make for a few minutes now. I got this game in a cereal box, because back in those days there was actually some cool stuff in cereal boxes, and this was one of them. Now, I think it was, I don't know if it was Kellogg's. I think it was Kellogg's that had that. Any Kellogg's brand that had 3 games were there in that time when they had this offer. One was Ford Racing 2, one was Crazy Taxi, and the third one was this, and this is the first one I got. And this has a high emotional value. I think, to be honest, it might not be the greatest racing game ever created, but yeah, I have some very fond memories of it. Let's dive a bit into it. You have a career mode where you work your way up through the classes that are in the game to, in the end, compete for the top teams in the prototype class and hopefully win the championship, whatever it is here. Yeah, but then of course time trial, of course, single race, this is what we'll do in a bit. And challenge mode, this is where I spent the most time in, where you will unlock every car and track somewhat in order in shorter championships. You can see here. Yeah, and there you can also see the classes. We have the GT class, which is a random assortment of GT cars of back in the day. GTS, this is rather more known under the name of GT1. This is what the class is actually known as nowadays. And then, of course, the prototype class, which is the LMP 900 class. So let's look at the cars that are in the game. There is actually a two-player mode. You can play with 2 players. I don't dare to take Legend difficulty, so let's take Pro. And yeah, here are the cars. This is really cool. Now, the GT class had 4 different cars, which is this Audi that is actually a DTM car. But yeah, cool to have it in here as well in the GT class. The Noble M12, also more of an exotic car. But yeah, it's really cool. You have also these kind of, yeah, lesser known cars in there, as well as the Quaife GT1 and the BMW M3 GTR. This is one of these standard well-known ones. But then in the GT1 class, the Centura GTS, also a rather lesser known one. The Panhard Ferrari GTR1, legendary car, this one, the Batmobile, as it was called by some. VMAX 320R, also rather an exotic one. Lister Storm, exotic but very cool and legendary car. The McLaren F1 GTR, of course. And then in the LMP 900 class, there is the BMW V12 Le Mans winning car. Panhard's LMP1, also a very cool car. Dome S101, also one of the lesser known exotic ones. And then the Bentley Speed 8, legendary. I think this probably aesthetically is my favorite car in the game. And then the original Audi R8, the prototype car that was also a Le Mans winning one, as well as the Speed 8, of course. And then there were also 3 secret cars. So this is why you can't see them right now. You have to unlock them first, which is the Pillbeam. A Pillbeam is there, a Lister Storm prototype, and what was it? A champ car. And that fits to one track especially. But yeah, let's dive into the racing. We'll go automatic because I don't know how to shift with the controller. I have no clue. Yeah, tracks. Also, very cool assortment of tracks. Silverstone. Hockenheim, Silverstone, of course, in the version, how it was back in the day. Hockenheim, also 2001 version before it was rebuilt to the layout we know nowadays. Monza. Springfield, fictional track. Time Ring, fictional track, but this is a very cool one actually. Sebring, loved it, still love it, but this is, I think to this date, the only racing game I own where Sebring is in as official content. So I hope Automobilista 2 will change that at some point. I am pretty confident they will, but yeah. Let's wait and see. Here is Rockingham. This was a very new track back in the day. Unfortunately, I think nowadays it's a car dealership and not really a racetrack anymore. Minato City, fictional street track in Japan. And then there is also some shorter layouts of tracks that are in the game, as well as the Rockingham Oval. And this is where it is very cool to have the Champ car, because they did race there. When it was the split and Champ Car tried to expand to Europe, and I think they had races at Rockingham. They also had one in Germany, which is where Alex Zanardi had his very, very bad crash. But yeah, anyway, let's go with the track that I was looking so much forward to. You can also change the conditions, day and, well, evening in this case. So let's do evening. And here, you can either race with all Panhard's GTS, the entire GTS class, or full multi-class grid. And this is what we will do. Multi-class racing. This is what I loved about this game. That you were able to do this. Well, let's skip qualifying. Well, we will start behind all of the GT cars. So we are on the back foot already from starting this race. But it is just, I want to just drive 2 laps. A very quick race here. To just show you this game, because I think it is a lesser known game. It is not one of those standard titles from back in the day, you know, all the Gran Turismos, and in fact 2 other games you will take a look at very, very soon. But yeah, let's focus on the racing here. We first have to work our way through. Oh, massive crash there with the Audi, almost completely spin him round. Now he turned in on us. Is what I would of course say in that situation. Now let's see that we don't lose too much time behind those guys. Oh, that is a difficult corner. I know I struggled a lot back in the day with this one. Oh! Crashing into the BMW. But now we are past the GT class and now we can set after our actual opponents in this race. Yeah. So let's see if we can have a bit of racing with our class opponents. We are already close. We're getting close now. Yeah, I mean, if you look at it now, there's also a bit of some... Oh! What's gone on there? Ooh, slippery curbs. I did not remember that to be the case in the game, but yeah, as you look at it, the graphics, of course, they don't hold up very well nowadays. There's also a bit of flickering, but yeah, still, it is fantastic. Brings back so many memories. Yeah, there is the flickering in the final corner. Always a very tricky one that I completely mess up. De Vries with the fastest lap. Nice one. Oh, we were almost as quick as him. Oh, now the final lap will be a bit of racing. This is the Cintura just ahead of us. Yeah, Rubbing is racing. Up into 5th in our class. 5th, of course. Yeah. I mean, you will probably not be that impressed if you just look at that game. But it has a lot of nostalgic value for me. Because, well, it really was the first game that I had. It was actually for PC. This is the PS2 version I'm playing here. So, I did not always have the greatest times in this game, because on the PC I had to play it with the keyboard and the arrow keys. So, yeah. That was quite something. Oh, damn. Oh, that was not good. But, yeah, I mean, but it was an entirely new sensation, you know. Before it was just watching the games or playing with my little Hot Wheel toys and recreating races, but this was actually racing, even if it is just on the computer, but on actual tracks with actual cars that you might have seen somewhere. Especially the Audi R8. This was probably the car I was looking forward to the most. Come on, let's do a dive bomb here. Oh, that actually worked. Look at that. We finish in P4. Yeah, as the Audi R8, I think it was still around in Le Mans. Yeah, okay, our engineer is not very happy with P4. I am quite happy. That was a fun race. And yeah, very nice to revisit this game again. Yeah, so let's dive into the next game. And this game was, oh now, okay. that's a very bright background. And that game actually was F1 05. This was the first Formula 1 game that I had. And, oh, this is the intro. Oh, okay. I strongly suggest that you look up the F1 05 intro. I can't show it to you here because the music is copyrighted. It is Butterflies and Hurricanes by Muse. Yeah, here it goes. I have to skip it. Very sorry. Would love to watch it with you, but yeah, strong recommendation to look it up because that was a very, very cool intro. Although, a clickbaity one. It shows a safety car in there, but the safety car is not actually in the game. So, shame on you, Studio Liverpool. I always was hoping for a safety car, but it never came. And then obviously, of course, it is the F1 season, the full F1 season of 2005. With all of the cars and all of the tracks, and a few bonus cars are in there as well, available for time trial. But yeah, basically it is pretty much the same game as F106, which is very well known, and F1 Championship Edition, especially since this was the last F1 game until Codemasters took over in 2009. Probably 2010 is the better game. Yeah, but feature-wise, it is pretty much the same game as this one. So, let's see. I mean, I love the Saubers from the looks. Yeah, come on, let's choose the Sauber. Let's go with Felipe Massa and Circuit. Ooh. Oh, okay, I know what. We'll go with Indianapolis, as it was very famous, the US Grand Prix at Indianapolis 2005, for all the wrong reasons. High speed medium. Yeah, looks good. Yeah, okay, I guess this is fine as well. I don't want a challenge right now. I just want to quickly revisit this. And now you're about to see a feature that I'm still missing from modern Formula 1 games, or Automobilista 2 as well, because I would really need that. Would be a really cool feature as I do all of these recreations of classic F1 seasons, as you might have seen on my channel before. And that feature is a starting grid editor. You can actually recreate the historic grids, for example, or you can just do a reverse grid just for fun. For example, look at that. I could just put Narayan Kartikeyan on pole position, and let's just, for good measure, put Patrick Friesacher into P2. And then, let's start this race. Oh, okay, yeah. I can't use this button to accelerate, so I have to use the X button. Yeah, that was how racing games were back in the day. Oh! Get out of the way, Kimi. Okay, turn 1. This is gonna be interesting. Oh, there's a bit of a weird blurry effect. Oh. Oh, too early on the too early on the throttle. We almost got pushed out there by the McLaren. Back into 20th we are. Not the greatest start to this race. Oh. And a bit laggy it is as well. Sorry for that. Oh, look at that. Ahead of us is actually probably... Yeah, this has to be Christian Klein. In the very first Red Bull ever. So, 2005 was the first season for the Red Bull team. Just after they bought Jaguar in 2004. Ooh. And there is Villeneuve, our teammate. Oh, we're getting shoved around. Oh, God. I need to be a bit more careful. And also, to be honest, I'm not too sure about the track layout, as I haven't raced on this layout for a long time. I raced a lot more on the modern layout, but this is of course missing the final corner, which is very cool, but also was the reason for 2005's horrible race. Oh, light on the brakes, into turn 1, and we... Oh! Yeah, this is very cool. Martin Brundle there. Yeah, that's a very cool feature of those games as well, the live commentary with official F1 commentators from back in the day. I was a bit disappointed by the choice of commentators for the German game because, yeah, they were... Jesus! Sorry for that! Because they choose the two top commentators that I did not like that much, that were the free on the air commentators Heiko Wasser and Christian Danner from RTL, the German free-to-air television. But I was always watching with my father on Premiere, which was later called Sky, and you probably know them by their name as well. So yeah, I was always a bit disappointed that they went for RTL, which is quite an obvious choice, of course, because more people knew these two than oh, there goes Barrichello again. Than the yeah, pay TV commentators, but yeah, this has actually nothing to do with the race here. Should probably focus more on the race. Patrick Friesacker is still... Ah, there he is, just ahead of us. Dropped down from 2nd to 5th. Might score points here today. Oh, but I think now we're gonna overtake him in the Minardi. Also, sadly, Minardi's last year, 2005. Ooh, horrible corner this here. Oh, yeah. Honestly, I prefer the modern layout, at least for that part of the track here. Oh, look at that. We're getting a good run on Schumacher. We might finish in the top 4 here. One thing I couldn't show you right now, I could have shown you, but I forgot, is the interactive pit stops. This was really a cool thing. When you came in for a pit stop, and... I wanted to crash into them. So, Montoya won, but yeah, you were actually shown buttons on screen that you had to press for the pit stop to go quicker, or if you press the wrong button, you had a pretty slow pit stop. So that was a really cool thing. Look at that. Congratulations to Narain Kartikeyan, who finished in 2nd in his Jordan. Yeah. So that has been F105, an exemplary race. Probably one of the more known games here. But now, on to the last one. And the last one, I still might call one of my favorite racing games to date. And that game, once again, very cool intro here, is another Codemasters game. Well, what another Codemasters game? It is a Codemasters game, the first one actually here, which is DTM Race Driver 2, or as you people in Australia might know it, V8 Supercars Australia 2, or in the rest of the world, you probably know this game as Tucker Race Driver 2. And this is a super cool game. It had so many classes. It had fully licensed seasons of the DTM, of the V8 Supercars, and lots of more stuff. It had a fun career mode, even with cutscenes. Yeah, here, these funny guys. Sorry, the game is once again set to German. But, yeah. You may know that. You can look it up. It is a pretty funny story, though probably we're better off not revisiting it now, because it might be a bit cringy. Don't know. I enjoyed it back in the day. I think it is one of the best, if not the best, story mode in a game. But yeah, probably the more known game is DTM Race Driver 3. It had even more yeah, officially licensed things in there. I think DTM Race Driver 3 even had Formula 1 cars, and IndyCar as well. But still, let's do this one. I don't even know where is... Oh yeah, okay, this is normal racing. I don't know, normal. And yeah, here now take a look at all of the racing series that are in there. DTM, which is fully licensed. What even is that? Yeah, also look at that. It has some very cool tracks. Vallelunga, Kyalami, Surfers Paradise, sadly you're limited to the tracks that are in there. Lightning 500, what is that? Super Truck Championship. Yeah, just a quick overview of all the tracks that are in there. Vintage Classic. Euro Rallying was a thing there. Off-road racing as well. There are the V8 supercars. Unfortunately, I have not unlocked this one yet. Masters Grand Prix. This is a bit of a mixture between Champ Car and Formula 1. Very fast open wheel cars. But let's do the officially licensed racing series that I have here. Oh, let's look at the calendar back here. You can of course do a full season or just one race. Hockenheim, Adria Raceway, okay. Nürburgring, of course. Euro Speedway, the Lausitzring. Norris, oh yes, Donington, Nürburgring with rain. A1 Ring, Spielberg, or Red Bull Ring, how it was called back in the Zandvoort, Hockenheim. Oh, you know what? The Norris Ring, let's do this one. This is such a cool track. Yeah, 3 laps, it should be enough. Starting position, who cares? Come on. What's that? Oh, okay, we can actually choose that we want to drive as an actual driver. Oh, yeah, look at that. There is the Audi TTR once again. The one we just saw in Total Immersion Racing. AMG Mercedes CLK with all of the liveries and all of the drivers. Should we go with the Opel? What's there? Nah, I'm going with the Audi. Hasseröder. Oh, that is the car we just saw. Matthias Ekström. Yeah, come on, let's use this one and see what we can do at the Norris Ring. Yeah, it was such a cool game. I think, obviously, DTM Race Driver 3 is the better game. It had a bit of weird graphics there. But anyway, here we are on the Norris Ring from P12. Ooh, bit of a sluggish getaway. That is great. DTM was such a great racing series back in those days, and pretty much until 2019, I think, was when Mercedes left. That was when it all went downhill. Oh, what's going on here? Oh, bit of chaos here, but that's to be expected at the Norris Ring. Oh, bit of a dive bomb here, but it works. Wow. Did not expect that. Yeah, I will actually, if you're interested in more DTM stuff, I will actually recreate, drive a season with 1992 DTM cars, starting late January on this channel. So if you're interested, yeah, subscribe. Oh, bit of a contact there. To see that. This was a bit of a golden era of DTM with Audi competing, Mercedes competing, BMW competing. This is also the cars that we'll see in this series in Automobilista 2, starting late January. Subscribe! But yeah, the other golden era I think was of DTM was from 2012 to 2019 with BMW, Mercedes and Audi once again going head to head. I loved that era so much. Yeah, sad to see what it has become nowadays. Just another GT3 series with very poor attendance as well. So yeah, this was really a big event also in bit of a lag there. In Hockenheim back in the day. Always loved to visit it. In fact, I was there the last time in 2019. This was also when Mick Schumacher... No, it was 2018. Because I was there when Mick Schumacher won his... Oh, now it gets a bit laggy. Don't know what that is. Sorry for that. But yeah, I was there for the last time. This was also Mercedes' last race in 2018 in DTM. Yeah, this was when Mick Schumacher won the Formula 3 title. I was there as well. So, yeah. But of talking about DTM, not really talking much about the race, the game, but I mean, it is a fantastic game with many cars, many very cool tracks, and two fully licensed touring car series, the DTM and the V8 Supercars, which I almost loved even more. What is that? Oh, we won an empty plate, huh? Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, this has the bit of weird, unscripted, me revisiting my old racing games and showing you a few Formula 1 toy cars I still own to this date. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like, subscribe to this channel to not miss anything. And yeah, this was a bit of a one-off video. I don't know, probably pretty chaotic. I hope you enjoyed it despite that. And I hope to see you all the next time. Until then, goodbye!